Well, good evening, everyone. It's Monday night, so it's Airfix and Chill. Good evening to those on the panel. Good evening to those in the chat. Have we got an echo? Who's got me playing in the background? Is that you, Julian? In the chat. Somebody's got me playing in the background. Have we got an echo? Who's got me playing?
And the delay, I think it's on YouTube.
Is it?
Yes, delayed. Someone's got YouTube open.
Yes, hang on.
And the delay, I think it's on YouTube.
Is it? I think it's Julian's got it on his, so I've just muted Julian a minute. So yeah, just mute. If you got Airfix in the background, just Airfix in the background, just mute it so we don't get the repeat of what we're saying.
All the time.
Anyway, good evening.
Yeah. So
Yeah. Good evening all. We've got Julian on tonight. People will probably know him from his comments in the chat, and I decided to get him on tonight. And he's picked a good night to come on, to be fair, because we do have the release of Mark 8 Spitfire in 1:24 scale from Airfix. I knew nothing about it. Got the press release at 1 minute past 10 this morning. And Jadlan went straight on and sent me an email and said that you can pre-order it through them for a tenner off. Airfix are doing it for £99, but you do get a limited edition coin. And I love I collect all their limited edition coins. So, but that's a difference. But I think a lot of them are going to be selling it for around about the £89 mark. So But yeah, we've got some PowerPoints and some PDF files to show you tonight. And I thought we'll discuss about the Spitfire from Airfix today. To be fair, I don't think, just asking the panel here and asking the chat, there hasn't been many releases of a Mark 8 in any scale, really, has there, apart from Eddard do a Mark 8, don't they?
Eddard have done a Mark 8 to death in 148.
148.
As of Tamiya in 132nd.
Yeah.
But obviously 132nd scale kit isn't available at the moment, so
yeah. There isn't a 172nd scale Mark 8, is there?
Yes, Eddard.
Eddard, that's right, yeah. Eddard. But that's the only one though, isn't it? Yeah. So it's interesting.
Alt 92 says Italieri, so I haven't had a look. I just know I know the Mark 8 because I built one. So
yeah, I've never built a Mark 8. To be fair, but it fills in. It's not another Spitfire. It's a Mark 8, so they've really gone for it this time. So the press release, if I had it to say who's dropped in, or John's dropped in now. Nice to see you, John. So press release time. This is what I got in the email, that it's available to pre-order now, and I presume it will be on our benches within the next two months, maybe even sooner. I think the box art looks phenomenal. It's this Australian scheme, and lovely box art. And basically, they've got the 457 Squadron Royal Australian Air Force, became known as Grey Nurse Squadron after repainting their newly arrived Spitfire Mark 8s with distinctive shark mouths, originally tasked with the air defence of Darwin. The squadron was soon moved northwards to Morotai, I think that says, and eventually Labion to primarily conduct ground attack missions against the Japanese forces. And this one here is the Bruce Watson DFC. So I can't remember what DFC stands for. Does anyone know what DFC stands for?
Distinguished Flying Cross.
yeah, that's it.
Distinguished Flying Cross.
Yeah, that.
Does anybody know the story behind it at all? No? There must be a story, because Airfix do that, don't they? They're bringing out schemes that have the stories behind it. So that's the first one. Then they've brought out the US Air Force one. Was it US Army Air Force, isn't it?
Yeah, US Army Air Force.
And then There's that one. The scheme, if we go back to there, so some nice artwork there, some pictures there of it in the shark's teeth. So some information there, and there's the schemes. If I go on this one here, these are the schemes. So a lot of colours there, and I'll just point out that Outlaw do the Australian colours. So if you want it in Outlaw paint, give us a tinkle. So we do all these colours. The trainer yellow. I thought it was quite interesting that on the edge of the wings are white and not yellow. Was there a reason for that? Why they were white and not yellow?
Pass.
No one knows. No. Poor Price is saying, yes, Dan, finally a kit I don't have to convert. So the Mark 8 is quite a popular one to have then, I guess.
No, because it was built predominantly for the overseas air forces.
Yeah.
Right. That's a joke, isn't it? Yeah. Anyone got any comments in the chat? Oh, yeah. Is it manufactured in the UK? I believe so. There's a lot of tooling to send over to India for a new release. I think they must have it over here. So yeah, I presume it is. Not too impressed. If as a one-off, their special announcements seem a bit of cop-out compared to other companies and their releases. Fair enough. It is a re-release, but with extra parts. So which is good. So there's the first scheme. And that's the second scheme, which is the Burma one, 1945. So I was heading for the end of the war, wasn't it?
Yeah.
That one.
Yeah.
More less colours in this one. You're only needing 7 on that one. And then finally, this is the one you like, isn't it, James?
Yes.
What about you, Jim? Would you go for this one? If you had the chance to build a 124th?
So I've got the Tamiya kit in 30 seconds. So, and I'm going to do the Grey Nerf Squadron because I got the Mal Mayfield's masks for it.
Yeah.
That little shark mouth just sold it on me. Even that one, I kind of like the North African American Spitfires better than that one. That one's to me is
Fair enough. The white was the preferred ID markings for Australia, apparently. So they like the white instead of the yellow. And the Japanese aircraft had yellow leading edges, so I can see why they've done that. That's a good shout.
So they wouldn't get shot down.
Yeah, I can see that.
Fire.
Yeah, the white was just an identification aid. That's fine. I just assumed that they were always yellow on the Spitfire, so my bad on that. I thought, if they didn't, they were just like camo, wasn't it? So, but yeah, this one's all silver, so you can imagine somebody doing this one with a foil, having a bare metal finish.
But is it natural metal or is it a metallic paint lacquer that's painted over the metal? Because they did that too.
I don't know.
That's interesting.
I mean, it's kind of a natural assumption that it might be a natural metal, but I wouldn't bank on it. I bet you that might be like a silver dope that they've painted.
Or Supermarine silver.
Yeah, Supermarine silver is a good shout. But you only need 5 colours for this one. But I love the tail on it. I think the tail looks smart.
Yes.
Yeah. It's very reminiscent of the Mosquito they do.
Yeah.
Photo reconnaissance Mosquito.
I that's a good shout. I'm assuming that doesn't come on the tail. Is that it could be? I think the decal. It looks like you're having they only come as one long red stripe, and then you cut them down to size, I guess.
Yeah,
they're showing you the width there, aren't they?
Well, they show you you've got an option to paint it or the decal.
Right, you got an option, have you?
So,
I'll use the decal.
Yeah,
but I presume the decal will. Yeah, well, you get the. Yeah, I see that now. Yeah, so you've got the choice. And then also, if you buy it now, if you're in the UK and you buy it now, or you pre-order it now, you get the coin. I love their coins. I've got nearly every single one of them now, I think. There's not one that I haven't got, which I bought. Which you have to spend over 50 quid and get a coin and whatever. So, But yeah, I like the coins. I think they're really well manufactured. So this is the sort of kit you would build then, Julian, for 124th?
Well, I haven't started building any yet.
Yeah.
The last one I did was in the mid '80s, so I was exactly quite a while ago. And before that was probably late '70s.
So a bit out of your range then, mate, isn't it?
Just a bit, yeah. Like I think I said to you and Alex before, my last foray into modeling was the 172nd Hurricane, where I tried to modify that canopy that went horrendously wrong. So I think this time I would start off quite a bit slower, probably with one of the starter sets, and then build up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I asked Dale about the changes, and he said, "I'll send you over the PowerPoint on what's actually changed between the 9C and to the Mark 8." So this is what they've sent. This is what he sent me. So you got the box art there, obviously, and then about the kit. There's 19 additional parts to this. Between that and the Mark 9C. So I think it's the same length, same width. You got three. So the 5 decal options, you've only got 3. New parts include the upper and lower wings, the short span ailerons, the retractable tail wheel section, and a revised instrument panel, and 3 vastly different paint schemes. And it's the first ever 1/24 scale Mark 8.
Yeah, it is.
This was quite good. I love seeing this. This really does show it because the pink are the new parts and the light grey are the common parts. So, basically, looking at top down, you've got leading edge fuel tanks. You've got the gun camera position has been added. You've got the short span ailerons. You've got the upper wing surfaces will be different, obviously. And then inside you've got the revised instrument panel. And then they got there, the lower wing surfaces are going to be different. And then they've repositioned the amber fuselage light underneath. And then you've got the retractable tail wheel at the back. And then this is the difference between the instrument panels. It doesn't look a lot of difference, but you can see there they've labeled them up. I'm not sure about the oil temperature gauge though on the right hand side, because to me they look the same, apart from they've got like a little box going around them. Do you see any difference in that?
Well, you can tell the middle gauge of those grouping of 3 has a different face on it.
Yeah.
But and then the whole diesel around it, but
because on the left
hand, those Spitfires that well, but the actual gauge could have been just a round gauge on the one on the left and the one on the right. It had a round gauge with a whole square face around it too.
Yeah. Was that said that 3 arms instead of 1, Moz?
No. As Dan pointed, as I said earlier in the green room, I said the Mark 7.
Yeah.
With a little bit of work.
You could get a Mark 7 out of this, could you?
Mark 7 out of a bit kit because you need a new compressor for the engine and
new canopy from R7.
a new canopy,
Yeah.
Because it was pressurized aircraft. It was basically revised 6, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Well, the 8 was basically a non-pressurized 7.
Yeah.
They did do the Mark 8 as a pressurized version as well.
They did.
It's a high altitude version of the
because they did and they did an HF, didn't they?
HF,
yeah, which pilots hated.
Yeah. They have moved a few of the dials around on that instrument panel.
Yeah, there's some, they've had to move one of the where to put the tail wheel position indicator light in.
Yeah.
They've had to move one down, haven't they?
Just for reference, anyone who wants to paint that tail wheel position indicator, it should be green if the tail wheel's down.
Yeah.
But it won't be on at all if the tail wheel's up.
Just
There are,
looking.
there are quite a few changes between the two kits.
Yeah.
Quite a lot of. They've done quite a bit of work. It's not just a simple extra sprue, is it? It's not just that.
No.
Well, I think they've definitely changed the wings, haven't they? They've
Yeah, the
changed
wings,
the fuselage. Then you'll have to change the fuselage to get the light change, wouldn't you?
Yeah. Plus the tail fin's different as well, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's a shout. No, is it different? No. Well, yeah. You've got the retractable tail wheel.
Well, the thing is, the different tail was in the was already in the tooling.
It was, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, did you have?
Also, all the engine parts were already there.
Yeah, I've got you. I haven't built the Mark 9, so I won't know.
No.
Yeah. Well, if you want to buy the original Mark 9, Jadlam do it for £79 now.
Really?
Yeah, Monster's got about 6,000 of the kits, but
Well, I bought a few.
Yeah.
I sent 2 to Australia.
Yeah.
Which is funny because I had a phone call today and they want me to buy 5 and send them down there. Now I've got a shipper that can do both ways for me from Australia to the UK and back. I might just start selling Airfix kits to Australia because they take. But then again, I spoke to Dale about it and he reassured me that Australia should get the kits around the same time as us.
Yeah.
So whether they've changed the distribution on that, I don't know.
Couldn't you do a conversion to one of the Seafire models? Because I'm sure one of them was based on the 8.
We were talking about that before we went live, didn't we? Could you do a Seafire?
I can't remember which model Seafire it was,
Mm.
but one of them was definitely based on the 8 because the Royal Naval Air Service loved it.
Mm. Scott's models, a few Aussie waiting for this. Just hope it don't take 3 years. I've been assured. I talked to Dale about it because I said, "Can you do me a deal on 5?" And he laughed. He said, "What for?" And I go, "Australians. I've had a phone call. I've had 2 phone calls today, asking if I can get them and ship them down." And I said, "Well, I can look into it." And I spoke to Dale, and Dale said, "Well, I'm hoping that they'll get them around the same time as us. It shouldn't be that much of a wait." And he's going to get back to me to find out, where they're heading to first. Then hopefully, but yeah, I'm happy. If Australians want one and they're willing to pay the postage, then I can send them down. But for that size box, I'm not lying to you. Going by plane, I think it'll be about £35. So that will be 70 Aussie dollars, I think, to get them shipped across. But that's the price, But if you're all clubbed in and say you wanted 10, and I get 10 in, and I can ship them in one big go, and you can go around and do your 6-hour mile trip or hour trip to go to your mate's house and pick up the kit if you want. But I've been told they're trying to get the, I don't know, but I'm noticing a lot with Airfix that if you look at the releases just recently, there's a lot of scope for the American market and a lot of scope for the Australian market. There's not, if they're trying to push into a different area, what better than to actually release a kit with a scheme that's going to be linked.
Yeah, I think they do the Beaufort. The Beaufort comes with the Australian markings.
Yeah.
So did one of them.
Bulldog.
And the Bulldog, yeah.
The Bulldog came with Australian, didn't it?
Yeah, one of them was Aussie markings, yeah.
It was. So, they are looking into these foreign markets. Well, I can't say in foreign, but, in other markets. And what's the best way of doing it would be to do a scheme like it. So what would you do with this then to make it into a Mark, to a Seafire? You would, it'd be Griffin engine, wouldn't it? It would be the Griffin engine in them.
No, it was a Merlin in that.
Was it?
No,
Those
apparently they've
two.
got the Griffins, haven't they?
They got
No.
Griffins.
Not in the 8.
They didn't. I don't. I had a quick look in the.
The first Spitfire, first production Spitfire to have a Griffin was the Mark 12.
Yeah.
Was it?
Yeah.
No. Most of them had a bubble top canopy, and they had folding wings as well.
I thought the Seafires were Griffin engines.
No,
They were.
not all of them.
What's that, Alex? Were they or weren't they?
Not all of them.
What?
Seafire Mark 2 was based on a Mark 5 Spitfire.
Yeah.
The Seafire Mark 3, I think the Seafire Mark 3 was based on the 8. And that was the most produced Seafire ever entered service.
The
I
first
thought
flight. Sorry, go on.
go on.
Boss.
No, you carry on. I always assumed that the Seafire had that upgraded Griffin engine in. I didn't know they were Merlin engines. I thought they
Oh
were
yeah,
straight
they had Merlins. In the early days, there were Merlins as well.
Yeah, they
Right.
didn't make many.
Well,
What,
the
or the Merlin
first
ones.
the first Seafires flew January 41 and 42. Sorry. So what would have been the Mark of Spitfire available in
Well, the Mark
January
2.
42?
The
They
Mark
were based on Mark
the Mark
1B.
2 or the Mark 1?
Go
Yeah.
on, Alex. Oh, no, wait. Alex said that was so they were based on the Mark 1B, were they?
The very first ones, yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, they had
Gross.
Merlin 3s, didn't they?
Yeah. Well, I'd be blown. I didn't know that at all. I thought Seafire was very later on. I
Right.
didn't think it was that early.
Well, the ones that we recognise are
Yeah.
The Seafire F Mark 3 is based on the Spitfire Mark 8, and it's powered by a Rolls-Royce Merlin 55N.
Yeah.
Well, I'll be bugging.
After the Mark 3, they produced their first Griffin-powered Seafires, which were the 15s, were they?
Oh, 92's just hit back saying they used Mark 5 as basis for the 1B and the 2C.
That's right.
Spot on. Yeah.
The early Seafires were based on the Mark 5B.
Yeah.
super
They
model.
didn't even have folding wingtips. They were just lashed out with arrestor gear
And the hook, I guess.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean they were just Spitfires converted.
yeah,
They
that's
were.
what they were.
They weren't designed as a naval fighter. It was just what do we have?
No.
We can convert.
What do we have that we can cope with the Luftwaffe?
So would
Which
so
one?
would,
Go
would
ahead.
they would the tail wheel then just be replaced by a hook? Was a hook a separate implement on the back of those Seafires?
No, it had a tail wheel, but it also had an arrestor hook in front of the tail wheel.
Right. Okay.
It was a Stinger like all the Royal Naval Air Service aircraft.
Yeah.
And the wheel and the tips never folded up then for them ones.
Not in the very first Seafires. No, they didn't have folding wingtips at all.
Yeah.
The first Griffin-powered Seafire was a Mark 15.
I thought it was earlier than that, but fair enough. Yeah. Well, I've been educated tonight.
Yeah.
That is true. The Mark 5 was a stopgap.
Yeah.
It was a very, very well presented stopgap.
Yeah.
So, A-frame arrestor gear, they call it.
Yeah.
Right, fair enough.
The first Griffin Seafire came out in 1944.
Right. Okay. So quite at the end of the war, basically.
Yeah, but the Mark 12 came out in 1942, but it had so many things wrong with it. They took it out of service straight away.
So when was the Griffin engine developed then, ready for use in the Spitfires? 'Cause the Americans had the
Do
Griffin.
you know where the Griffin originated from? Because a lot of people don't realise this. It was the original underdeveloped version of the engine that went in the S6 and S5 seaplanes.
Yeah.
That went Ryder
Yeah.
Cup.
Yeah.
That was 1929 and 31.
So the Griffin engine was around before the Merlin, was it?
It wasn't called the Griffin engine. It was called the Type R, but the Merlin was being developed before the Griffin.
Yeah.
But both engines took a long time to sort out.
Yeah. and they were basically in, was it 1942, 43 was when the Griffin engine started
The
to
Griffin
be
engine first was fitted to a Mark 12 in 1942.
right. Okay,
And then
that's what I was saying. I thought the Seafire was around the 42, 43 mark, and I thought that was the Griffin engine.
Well,
So
Yeah, but it was way behind in terms of priority.
yeah.
yeah,
Oh god, yeah, because they had the Sea Hurricane. They thought, oh, that'll do.
yeah.
What a
I mean,
mistake!
in 42, they weren't fitting Griffins to Spitfires in regular service.
Well,
No.
if you look at the development of the Hawker Tempest, I think it's the Tempest 2 and the Tempest 3. No, the Tempest 3 and the Tempest 4 had Griffins, different
Yeah.
variations of the Griffin.
That's right.
And then,
Different. They were different radiated versions of the Griffin, weren't they?
yeah,
Because the Mark II had the Centurious engine in it.
Centaurus, yeah.
Yeah.
Does yeah. Wow. Somebody just said then if Airfix are going to do the Beaufort for the R88F, I hope they put the right engines in it.
Yeah,
So what was the engines in the Beaufort then?
Pratt and Whitney.
They were, yeah. Was it the P? It wasn't the 200, was it? No,
It's a Twin Wasp, wasn't it?
Twin Wasp.
In the Aussie Beaufort.
That Beaufort is a lovely kit, mind, isn't it? To be fair,
I've got one here.
I wonder if they did think of that, if they're going to release it.
Mm.
But would that be a different mark then? I guess it would, just for the
Yeah.
Australian. I wonder what mark that would be if they did release one.
No,
Was that kid- So when was the Beaufort released? That must have been 4 years ago, mustn't it? The Airfix, a new Beaufort.
Might
was
was
it-
it then? It was before lockdown, wasn't it?
It was before
Yeah.
yeah. So in theory, it'd be about the right time to re-release it again in some sort of colour, in some sort of scheme, with some new parts in.
Were the you know the Aussie Beaufighters, did they have Twin Wasps in them as well?
I wouldn't know.
I can't. I haven't looked into Aussie stuff that much, you know.
Yeah.
When did Tamiya release their bullfighter?
Who, sorry?
When did Tamiya released a 148th bullfighter?
Oh, that was ages ago.
Ages? Okay.
About the late 90s.
Oh my gosh.
Brilliant kit it is.
That's the one I have, and it went together.
2021, the Beaufort came out.
Right.
It was after lockdown. Well, I know that.
Did they rebox it or something?
No, it was a fresh tool, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a fresh tool.
Yeah.
So it might be not this year, it might be next year they bring it out. Because so this 24 Spitfire was 2022 and now in 20, so that's 2 years.
Yeah.
But they tend to do that. It's like the MiG Angurovich MiG 17. They've released that now 3 times. This time they've done the American What If sort of scheme, haven't they, for that one? So
I know the F-86 Sabre they released with 2 different wings.
yeah. Oh, that's a good shout. The Beauforts were released when the Suez Canal was blocked. Remember? When I'll be, yeah. But to be fair, it doesn't matter that the Suez Canal is blocked or not. They're that scared of being bombed by a Russian missile that they're going around the Cape of Good Hope anyway, aren't they?
Yeah.
They're staying well away from it. It was already released since the original Mark 9 release. Wow, yeah, it's been 2 years. It has been it does seem to have developed pretty quickly. But yeah, I think they've chosen wisely here with the Mark 8. And I think in our heart of hearts, we knew there was going to be one, didn't we? A Mark 8 along in the mix. Just trying to think, what else could they use that tooling for? Oh, you got it, did you? Is that the Beaufort?
Yeah.
You're on mute, Alex. He didn't even
That's
know.
the ICM Beaufort. It's a bit bigger than the Airfix one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
With South African Wrangles, that's why it's they're looking odd colour.
Well, yeah, they can't get the RAF license, can they?
No.
Was it? You enjoyed that build though, didn't you, Alex?
So what was that?
You enjoyed that build from ICM, didn't you?
It's lovely. Yeah, it's really nice.
No, you didn't use
I
any
quite
filler
fancy
on
doing
it.
a coastal command torpedo bomber one now as well.
Yeah, they did one.
Did you use any filler on that, or was it just straight?
No.
Basically, it's just straight glue and a little bit of sanding and done, is it?
Yeah, I just lightly sanded the seam at the top. That was it.
Yeah. I still haven't taken my Spit 9 out of the box yet. Wow, come on, Matt. You went to the launch, mate. You should have had that open. And to be fair, I haven't built mine either. I've had it open, but it's still up there. Well, it's over there now, isn't it? I just haven't. Honestly, what's the point of me building it when I've got nowhere to put it?
Yeah.
I've got nowhere to put a 124th. That's the killer for me. 124th is just that little bit too big.
Yeah.
Like that 1/32 scale Qatari Spitfire that I've got. I've never built that because I'm thinking, where am I going to put it to? That's 1/32. I'm 140. I'm 172 and 148. It's funny because when I was at the model show on Sunday, there was a guy. Well, I'll tell you what, opposite to us. And basically, he put it together. It was like a jigsaw. The wings went on, the back end went on, and it was like the size of the table. Like, it was like, yeah. But you pop on, Matt, if you've got 5 minutes. You come and say hello to us if you like.
We don't bite, honest.
I'm a little bit surprised it was the Mark 8. To be fair, I think.
What, did you think it'd be a 9? Did you not the 9C, just a box?
No, I thought they'd do like a 5 or a slightly earlier one.
Can they do that with that tool in?
Well, the wings still have the drop down lights in. For the earlier wing, and you'd only need to shorten have a shortened fuselage piece.
There's issues with the wings, though, isn't there, Alex? Because the wings on the Mark 9 was the E wing, not the universal wing, and the gun ports because they were .50 caliber guns on the Mark 9, they weren't 303s, and the gun ports are narrower on the earlier models. They're closer together.
Yeah. Just given the amount of retooling they've done for the 8, because the 8s were all built by Spitfire, by Supermarine. They were used almost exclusively in North Africa and the Far East.
Mark 8s,
they only made like 1,600 of them. So with the 5 and the 5 and the 9 together make up like 11,000 of the Spitfires made.
You're right, because if they're going to retool the wings for the 8, they could retool the wings for a 5, couldn't they?
Yeah. So
well, they
surprising. I mean, funnily enough, they did an 8 in Australian markings in 48 scale. Airfix did in 2000. So the old 48.
Yes, they did. Yeah, they did.
Yeah. I think that when Airfix now release kits, like what was it I did the other day? Was it the Bulldog? And there was a letter missing. It was like A, B, then D, E, F, G. So there's a C sprue somewhere.
Yeah.
They're going to release it again.
The Chinook was.
The Chinook, wasn't it? Yeah, the Chinook. Yeah.
Which makes sense.
Yeah. How much is the retail price? I'll probably be able to afford it as I'm a fixing. It is. Airfix are doing it for £99, and that comes with a coin. Jadlam and other scale model outlets are doing it for 89 quid. So they've already knocked 10% off the kit already. And Jadlam have now knocked the original Mark 9C down to £79.
That's a really good price.
Yeah, absolutely. I paid 120 for that Mark 9 when it came out from Airfix. Yeah.
So the idea was that they wanted to build a 124 scale model that will be under 100 quid, and they did it because originally when it came out, Airfix were doing it for £94 and 79p with free postage. So yeah, it's very much a case of that. As I said, I'll put a link in here if you want. There's a link there.
Even that price for a 24 scale Spitfire of that quality, when you compare that to the Revell 32nd scale release. Yeah, it came out at 24 quid, wasn't it? Didn't have
What?
anything in it. The Revell Mark II, you know the Mark IIA that they did?
What, the 24 scale one?
No, the 32nd
Oh,
scale.
32nd scale one.
About 30 quid. Yeah.
When they
Yeah.
released that kit, it had no engine, no pilot. It was really, really bereft of detail. Apart from the cockpit was excellent.
Yeah.
And I thought, they could have put that detail in and charged another tenner, and people would have paid it.
When it's soft, though, a lot of people said it was soft, didn't they, as well?
The actual airframe is really accurate.
Yeah.
It was a really accurate kit, but it had Mark V ailerons on it
Yeah.
instead of fabric ailerons. It had metal ones.
It's a fair comment to make there. I would like, sorry.
So when you compare that to the price that Airfix are charging for a 24 scale Spitfire of that quality, that's a really good.
It was good. I've got my Airfix coin collection in like a little container. I'm going to try and get them all filled up. Over the years, I'm going to get them all filled up, my coins.
That'll be its next day.
So I think it's a little bit different. Look, those coins, like, if you got the Revell, they'll give you a book. Then charge you the air for it, so
I think the coins are more collectible.
I think the coins could be more collectible.
Yeah, I
than,
think
so I do see that. If that's an issue. The Revell Mark 9, not the Platinum Edition, was around 30 or 40. The Platinum Edition with extras is a crazy €110. But we had the discussion anyway, haven't we?
Yeah.
The price it's not right.
No.
And I guarantee that it'll be in their bargain bucket in their section. A book is no way going to add on 60 quid. And well, they got resin with it. Is it resin or they got photo etch in the Platinum Edition?
I think it's PE, isn't it?
But PE.
Yeah.
And if you see what PE costs these days, because ZRPE is relatively, reasonable priced, isn't it? It's not out the way, is it? Photo etch. So I'm not really a fan of photo etch. I put the Revell Spitfire. I thought it went together nicely. Yeah.
Yeah, Dan's right. It does go together really nice, and it looks the part.
Dan's done the Iron Maiden version of the Spit.
Oh, is he?
Right.
Yeah.
That turned out great.
But it's funny, because that kit comes with extra parts to produce the Mark 9 propeller.
Yeah.
But they haven't released it as Mark 9.
Yeah,
they have released the Mark 9, yeah.
Mm.
But it's obviously part of it is based on the early Mark II kit.
Yeah.
It'll have different wings, obviously, and a different fuselage, but a lot of the parts will be common.
I wonder if Airfix will release a C5 version. There's no doubt they will.
Mm.
Listen, 1/24th scale is their nugget, isn't it? When you think about 1/24th, I think they realise that you look back over the years, 1/24th, they had like 15 years without. They developed the original 1/24th back in the 60s and the 70s. And then they kind of went away from it. Then they came back and did the Mosquito. And then they had the Hellcat, and they decided, which they mothballed, and they put in a cupboard behind all the dodgy Humbro paint pots. Then Linden came back on board and said, what we got? Well, we've got this Hellcat that we're partly developed, ready to go. And he said, well, we've got to launch it. We've got to get it out there. And then they realised how well it went. Because that Hellcat now, I've seen it on eBay for 150 quid now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a Mark 9.
Sorry, go on, John.
There's a Mark 9C on eBay at the moment for £300.
Why have they done that? When
So ridiculous.
Pass, but it is.
Yeah. Yeah, you got the Harrier GR9. And I remember when they launched that Harrier GR9 and they had white metal undercarriage, didn't they? They had so you didn't need to put any weight in the nose. It was all you had the weight in the wheels. Which I kind of like.
Anyway.
What's that, sorry?
The Harrier isn't a tail titter anyway.
No.
That's the way it's designed.
Yeah. Fair enough. I was just saying they came with cast metal undercarriage, which I thought was a really nice touch. I like to see more. I like to see more of that coming back. Because they're easy to paint as well. They're really nice to paint. There's more Christmas in it as well. So I wonder if Airfix will follow Tamiya 132nd path and release a low back Mark 16 at some point. They won't do 132nd scale. We're pissing in the wind.
No, a 124th scale. I think he means.
Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah. Could they do that with that tooling?
They'd need a new fuselage and a new cop, and they'd probably need a new.
It'd be a new kit, really.
And, yeah, it'll be so different that it'd probably be a new tooling.
Yeah. G&A scale models. I pre-ordered one this morning. On the topic of Hellcat, if you can find one, it will set you back 350 quid. I think Matt from Model Minutes got his from Hobbycraft, and it was a mega price then.
Oh my gosh!
But look at the Mosquito.
Yeah.
200 quid, 220 on eBay now on the bay. But that's due to be re-released soon. It's got to be.
We were talking about this last week, weren't we, Moss? How much did you say you thought it would be retailing for if they re-released it?
I wouldn't. You wouldn't get much change from about 160, 170 quid.
Yeah.
When it was released back in 2010, it was around the £100 mark then.
129, wasn't it? When it was
129, somebody said.
It was, yeah.
There are issues with that 24th Mosquito, isn't there? Is it the nacelles? There's issues with the nacelles on there. Is that correct? Has anyone built that
one? Weak.
Pardon?
I think the undercarriage is weak.
Yeah.
That might change with the plastic.
It only had one engine on the kit as well, didn't it?
Well, you had the nacelles, but only had one option of doing the engine open on one of the engines.
Yeah.
Well, maybe they'll release it with 4 engines, with the extra sprues to do that, and then charge 220 quid. But it wouldn't be. I think because the Mosquito, that was the biggest one they've done in 124th, or was it the no?
No,
the Mosquito's quite big.
The Mosquito is the biggest one they've ever done, isn't it? 124.
Yeah, it is,
yeah.
Certainly the biggest box I've ever released anything in.
Yeah. And you see it now in scale model shows going around the £200 mark.
Yeah.
To be fair, to say that, I haven't seen one at a scale model show since Avon last year. That was the last time I saw it, and they wanted megabucks for it then. Mind you, that Rockwell I've got there, 1/72 scale, looks pretty big for what it is as well. But
you see, that's an aircraft that's probably 3 times the size of a Mosquito.
Yeah.
Half the size scale.
Yeah.
The only thing with with releasing a Spitfire, I think, it kind of comes with the discussion about these other kits. It hasn't been 2 years since the Mark 9, because that was December that was released. So it's like I wouldn't buy the Mark 8 because I built the Mark 9.
Yeah,
and it's like there isn't that much difference between them. There's nothing to make me put together another 124 scale Spitfire that soon after doing that. If it was a different kit, like a Mosquito, then you'd look at, that is completely different. It's a completely different value proposition, but it's not a Spitfire. So would you pay twice as much for doing that? I think probably. So it's a little bit odd to me that they've done the Spitfire so quickly, 18 months after doing the last one, because a lot of people bought that Mark 9. A lot of people did it.
Yeah.
Are those people going to buy the Mark 8? Would more people have bought the Wildcat if they re-released the Wildcat? which would have been a lower cost to Airfix as well, because they wouldn't have had to do any retooling.
The Hellcat game.
Yeah, Hellcat. Yeah.
Sorry,
Hellcat.
No, you
almost said
got
Bearcat.
in front of that, Moz.
Yeah. It's the wrong cat.
If they did a 24th Bearcat, Moss would have a house full of them.
I would find fucking room.
And I
I'll
agree
put a
with Dave
shed
there.
up in the back.
I agree with Dave, Dutch Dave there with the, that's why it has Aussie decals to up the selling. I get that, but even so, that isn't enough for me. If it was 48 scale, yeah, because of 48 scale, it's much more accessible. It's, easier to store and stuff. And the Australian market, perfect. The Australian market is tiny, and Airfix haven't served it well. So, in terms of logistics and stuff. The American one, I mean, a lot of comments I hear about Airfix from American modelers is they like the Britishness of it. So it's doing an American, I don't know. It just seems a little bit odd in terms of the business side of it.
That's a really good shout, Alex, because you think about that. They like the Britishness because Americans love the Brits anyway, don't they?
I wouldn't have thought about doing the USA. Let's just say a non UK decal scheme for my Spitfire. I would never have done I think there was a USA version that is blasphemy.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I don't know. I kind of like that North African US Spitfire. The Operation Torch ones, and eventually I'm going to do one of those. But to Maz's point earlier, are they trying to go into other markets with the American market, with an American marking, the Australian market, and this is a quick, easy, cheap way for Airfix to get another mark out without breaking the bank and tooling a whole new kit. They can make a few changes to the 9 and get to an 8, and now they've got another product in their catalog.
Yeah.
So who knows what they're thinking, but I can kind of see why they did it, because they don't have to go too far, so they want to milk the 9 as far as they can.
Yeah. But they could have had a lower cost by just reissuing one of the older kits. They don't expand their catalog, so Airfix, when they bring new stuff in, they take other stuff out.
Yeah,
like Tamiya, who just add constantly, and their catalog grows and grows and grows. The Airfix stuff, like the Victor, you can't get the Victor anymore. Airfix have discontinued that.
Until they reissue it.
Yeah, until they reissue it. But that's it. It's an interesting choice. I think the 8 in 24 scale. We'll see how it works for them.
Just want to bring this up with Jim, because even for me, when this first came out, I was going to say, because I'm loving Airfix. They put the date of the tooling and when this was released. So they released this back in 2019. This one here, right? The Mikoyan Gurevich. Now they released it twice since then, and then they've come out this year with this one with that American marking. I wish they gave me that one the first time around, because there's wanted me to build this kit again because it's got that what if. Well, it wasn't really a what if. It was they nicked it, didn't they? And then they tested it in Area 51, wasn't it, or something?
Yeah.
But to have that, and I know that there's going to be a lot of Americans who are going to go, I want to build that because it's got this what if, secret tested plane that they had in America that they stole like Firefox. I bet Kanisa would have. That's what the film's based on.
There's something else which people might not have thought about at the moment. Building Russian equipment is sort of not very tactful. So they've put an American scheme on that Russian aircraft, probably to make it sell better.
Yeah.
Oh, you conspiracy man! You honestly get off.
Well,
if you tell me
just for building a mill. All the hassle he got just for building that.
Yeah, I think it's a really valid point. I mean, if you're going to do let's say a Soviet era aircraft, doing it in USSR, non-Soviet Union, non-Russian markings, it is actually pretty valid.
Plus, the American market is very lucrative.
Oh yeah.
Hugely so.
Saying that,
America, you're laughing.
I'll tell you what, I bet Airfix are glad they didn't bring anything Spanish out this year because
God,
they wouldn't sell a bean, would they? You know, but what I did find interesting though is that they actually got this. The scheme A is, which I thought was interesting because normally I thought that the box art would be the first scheme, but on this one, scheme A is the Egyptian version.
Ooh,
That's the Egyptian version. That is.
I would be interested in building that.
Yeah.
So that's scheme A, but the box art is showing scheme B. What's wrong way? Scheme B.
Yeah.
So it does kind of show you that maybe there was an option there, or they could have released it as the Egyptian one. Then the last thought was, well, we'll get Toonby to do this one. But that got me. As soon as I saw that, I think that was one of the first ones I put in me basket was this one. But it does look amazing. You know,
Yes,
that
nice
it does
camo
look
pattern,
really
yeah.
nice camo.
Yeah, it is.
I haven't even opened it yet. It's been on my desk. It's another one to go in the stash to build later. But
Is that 48th or 72nd?
30 seconds.
72nd.
But what I'm
Is it
saying is that
Somebody playing.
they've released this 3 times already.
Yeah,
This is their
'cause they
third
did-
release.
Wow.
They did a 48 scale one, didn't they, back in the Maguire and McGuinness days?
Yeah.
Which,
But this one, I think if there wasn't a Russian war on, this would have been
Yeah.
retooled as a 48
Of course it would have,
by
yeah.
now. There seems to be like that 5-year swell. You could,
Yeah.
you know, I've got a pair of boards, but none of them are crystal. But you start to see patterns forming,
yeah.
don't you, with Airfix? You see that they released that Sea King and one, what was it? One, what was it?
48th,
Yeah, but they released it originally as a
72nd.
1/72.
That was a
But there was
retool.
5 years between them, wasn't there? There was 5 years between that original tooling and then this one.
Mm.
So, yeah. I don't know. Oh, Spur and Blue. Do you think Airfix will bring out an orange rifle? Oh, shut up, you tart. Back into the left. No, we won't go there. Yeah, no, I don't think they would. John does have a point. Look at the real privately owned Russian aircraft. Mostly have had all markings removed and repainted.
Yeah.
What you mean in America? That's what
Yeah.
they've been doing in America. Lee.
Yeah.
Did somebody make a comment about the EE Lightning? Did I see that somewhere?
That's a funky looking plane, man.
Yeah, I thought somebody put a comment as well. I've missed it. If you put that comment about the EE Lightning, put it back in again, 'cause I can't see it. Not a criticism, but 3 schemes is low for an Airfix 1/24th kit. There was 4 schemes in the Spitfire Mark 9, Hellcat, Typhoon Car Door, and Mosquito. One release did have 3 schemes. I think Airfix price the kit with a decal sheet. So if you actually look at the original Mark 9, the 5 schemes, you could fit them all on that one sheet. This time they're a little bit more complex. If you look at them, let's go back to it. They look a bit more complex, to be fair. So you're getting more. I don't know, actually. Maybe I'm talking shit, but
Would there have been another version available to build? Because they didn't make many 8s, did they?
no.
That was the original scheme that they brought out in the 90s. That
Yeah.
version of the Mark 8.
Yeah.
Mhm.
There don't seem to be that many decals on these either. There's not a lot of stencil, is there, on this?
No.
So I was just thinking, they went for the size, because I think that's the most frightening thing is the price of the decal sheets that they use. But that's what makes it special. That's what makes Airfix decals are very, very good. So
Yeah,
I
I
don't
mean,
know.
they could have done a North African, like an RAF North African one,
Yeah.
Middle Stone and Dark Earth. That would have been a nice addition.
Middle Stone does look good on a Spitfire, though, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It does.
You mean like the 5C colours they put on their 72nd scale one? It was that scheme, wasn't it?
Yeah. There you go. I said I'd love to see a 124 EE Lightning, mate. If they did an EE Lightning in 124th, yeah. I'll be playing myself all the way up to the release of that. I'd love. To be fair, the Airfix Lightnings are pretty good anyway, aren't they? I've done the 72nd. The 48th was a bit fiddly in places. A little bit of filler was needed down the back end of the fuselage, if I remember rightly. But it went together really well. So who knows? I still think they'll bring out a 124th Eurofighter Typhoon. Why not?
That would be a project and a half.
Hey, so G&A scale model has a quick question. It's going to be produced in the UK like the Mark 9 or in India?
I can assure you, when you open those bags, you'll be breathing salty
air.
Salty air.
Cool. All right.
Yeah.
That's a good question.
I think a 24...
It'll be rusty. We'll have a rust effect on it by the time we get to there.
I think a 24 scale Hawk might be more likely to come out.
Do you think?
Yeah.
Do you think they would do a 124th Hawk?
Well, the Hawk's quite small.
Yeah, and they could do 5 or 6 different versions.
Yeah.
Without changing the tooling much.
Is there the appetite for a Hawk, though?
The Airfix EE Lightning Mark 1A is definitely not the greatest kit they've ever released. What?
Is he talking about the original early tool?
Yeah.
Because
the new ones are good.
Yeah, but they don't do a Mark 1A, do they, in the new ones?
No.
No, that's not true. They did in them with 48 scale original tooling. They did a Mark 1A in that.
But the new versions are phenomenal.
Yeah, they are.
I had one on my shelf, but no, I gave it away. No, yeah, because I built one. I had one in the stash. And somebody contacted me and said that, Airfix are shit. I haven't built one of their kits in 15 years. So I sent him that, and he came back and said he loved it. It was really good. The only thing is on the front nose. It was hard work getting that front nose with the area at the front. So
I just wish they'd done a 124th BF 109E like the old one that they used to do.
Yeah.
Are those the tropical ones, Alex?
Yeah.
Well, you could. I mean, it was used everywhere, wasn't it? So you could have the Trop, you could have the Battle Britain one.
Let's all say goodnight to Dan. Go on, son. Off to bed now. Go on. Bye-bye, Dan. It's getting dark now, but the street lights are on. Good night, Dan.
I call him Dan the Man. Dan the Man.
Who likes to curry now? Revel have a 132nd Hawk.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah, and that's not a bad kit either, though, is it? But they don't do it. Did they release that as a Red Arrow?
It was originally released as a Red Arrow, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if they did other versions of it, but I've only ever seen the Red Arrow version.
But I'd like to see a Eurofighter Typhoon in 124th. I can't see why not. It is the weapon that we use now, isn't it? To be fair. What about, does anyone do a 124th F-35B? Now, if they did do that, I bet Tamiya would sweat.
Yeah.
No one does a 132nd scale F-35B, do they?
Yeah, Talieri do.
Talieri do they? Yeah.
I've got one in the shop.
Yeah. What price is that, though, Alex? Roughly?
It's actually about the same as the 48 scale Tamiya one. It's about £95 or something.
£95, yeah. See, people knock about Airfix and their pricing, but some of the Tamiya stuff is getting very rich, isn't it?
Yeah.
Very rich.
Doesn't Tamiya and Talieri have a sort of a special understanding?
Yes.
Like they'll rebox each other's stuff quite often.
Yeah. The Reeboks Tamiya reboxes Talieri stuff, but they'll actually correct the instructions.
That's right. And Revell jump on the bandwagon by boxing anyone's stuff.
Yeah.
Mm.
Also, Hello jump on the bandwagon apparently because they do the ICM kits. So
Yeah.
Steve, you bugger. I said that at the very beginning. My book is my Substack. I've took the best of the articles that I've done and put them into a book because somebody suggested I do that. And but don't worry, because a lot of those articles will be hidden on Substack in a bit anyway. So that's the idea of it, was that somebody asked, why don't you put all these into a book? And that's what I did. So, and I don't think £9, £9.99 is a pretty fair price for, it cost me a bit. What annoyed me more is that it was the formatting of the stuff to get it all into a book. It's hard work and to get somebody to proofread it and everything. So, but I'm glad you enjoyed it though, because a lot of people have said they've really enjoyed it. So, with limited display space most modelers have, how many people are realistically going to buy a second Spitfire? Poor marketing policy from Airfix. There are those who will. There are those who didn't buy it the first time round and will buy it now because they've.
Right.
I was surprised that scheme does matter. Scheme does matter, doesn't it? So, yeah, there is definitely a place for, some people won't buy, they haven't done it in my, they haven't done it in this scheme, I haven't done it in that scheme, or I might buy it if somebody else has an aftermarket for it. No, you don't have to.
Just to point out, I've actually got two Spitfires. I've got a Mark V VC 124 scale, which is an Airfix kit, which is sitting upstairs.
Yeah,
and I've got the Mark 9. So there you go. I don't know where I'll put the Mark 9, but
mine's on my dining room table.
Yeah. Steve T. Revell boxes anyone's stuff, but put them in crappy boxes.
Yeah, they do. The bigger the box, the worse it is.
If you want to watch it, was it the Corsair you did, Alex? Which one was it? Yeah.
That's it's just
Yeah. Yes. If you want to watch a video about reboxing, watch Alex's Corsair video. Make even I, by the time I finished that video, there was basically a chunk out of my chair from all the really that bad Revell,
I think I called it a carbuncle. And,
a carbuncle, that's the one, yeah.
Carbuncle, that would be right.
Like a boil.
Yeah.
I mean, isn't it right, Alex, that the box is still worth more than the kit inside it? Because you're talking about the 32nd scale Revell kit, aren't you?
Yeah.
God,
I mean, the mad thing is, and it's the usual thing with Revell, there's just no transparency. It's like it's a 1960s tooling, very much of its time.
Yeah.
It's the same kind of price as the Spitfire in 32nd scale. So it's fine if if you're a savvy modeler and look at scale mates and stuff. But if you're just somebody at Hobbycraft, because that's generally where you find them, going along buying Tommy's second kit because he's done the Spitfire from Revell. Oh, I'll get him this Corsair. That's a nice big thing. Massively disappointed and probably put off modeling forever. Yes, it can be made into a nice kit, but there are far better offerings out there.
It's funny though, Alex, because the old tool Revell P40E Warhawk they did.
Yeah,
I've built that kit 3 times.
Yeah,
I love it.
Revell are an odd company because some of their kits are actually really nice.
Yeah,
and some of them are horrible, and they just they don't seem to distinguish between them in any way.
The P47 is dreadful.
Yeah. I didn't buy the first time. I only pre-ordered the 8 for the US AAF scheme. So yeah, it does make sense. To some people, scheme does matter. Revell's ultimate poor parts in the HE111 132nd kit landing gear made a potentially good build into a poor time building. Yeah. But you know what? I will say this now, folks. The red fucking sticker. You go into Hobbycraft, they put a sticker on it saying reduced to this. They could have put a steaming turd in a box. There's an offer, I'll buy it. And that's what happens. You get caught sometimes by that. But
Well,
yeah,
that's how I bought the Corsair. It was at a 50% off sale. You know?
Yeah,
And it's still not worth that.
the Revell 32nd scale JU88 suffers from the same problem. The undercarriage legs are they're not strong enough.
do you know, I would be embarrassed if I was Revell sometimes, because, like I said, I did. In my book, in my article, I did the they did the Spitfire, or was it Hurricane, as a freebie back in 2009.
Yeah.
But you look at it, the tooling was 1960s. It didn't even use the newer Hurricane tooling. I know they were giving the kit away, but that could have been a stepping stone for somebody to get back into scale, become a scale modeler. So, Sean Russell says, I'd love to see Airfix do a 148 Halifax, an up-to-date one. September, mate. They're going to release one in September.
Yeah.
Yeah. Stuart, nice to see you on the panel, Julian. Yeah, great to have him on board.
Yeah.
This could be our new thing. We will have a special guest from the chat come on to the stream once a week. That'd be good, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
What I hate about Revell is new build on the box and its new box art. So Metalieri piece of shit. I've been caught a couple of times. Look, first diorama. Remember them?
Yeah.
New from Revell. The first diorama.
Bloody Matchbox kit.
The new bit was the paint, and there wasn't even enough to do the bridge.
74 tooling.
It's very deceptive marketing. I think that's, a lot of people do reboxing, but I mean, some of them, like Tamiya, they will say it's an Italieri kit. Not always, but generally. And, others do, but Revell never do. You can never be sure what's in the box, which is why they've got the reputation they've built up.
Yeah.
But Airfix did something a bit underhand as well in the 70s, didn't they?
Oh, yeah.
Do you remember,
Airfix had that
they released a number of Series 2 kits, and then they bumped them up to Series 3 and called them brand new.
Yeah.
Same bloody kit inside. They did it with the Venger, they did it with the Lysander, and they did it with the Westland Whirlwind helicopter.
Going on about this then, anyway, because I've always said that I think Revell do a disservice to ICM. Now, bear with me while I talk about this. Before Tallery became a Tallery, they were called Italiari, wasn't it? It was like a hell of a long word.
And I still can't say it properly.
I can never say it properly. I'm guessing at the wind here, but right. There was a time when Revell and Italiari, they would release it and they would have both their logos.
That's right.
On the box.
Yeah.
I think Revell do a disservice by not putting ICM next. If they want, they should be doing it. Revell, ICM. ICM, and I clap my hands to them, are producing some stunning stuff.
Yeah.
What right has Revell got to stick their name on it? In fact, I bet people will go looking for the ICM. This boat I built, right? I love this boat. I love building this boat. ICM boxing. I built it. It was lovely. It's a cracking build. All right. I paused up the front gun here because the elbow they melted with Tamiya extra thin. They just went, they were gone. So I didn't bother putting them on. That is a cracking build. Revell are now releasing it as their own.
Yeah.
Let's have a bit of respect here. It's ICM. It's ICM. Yeah. So, and I get why ICM have probably licensed the tooling out to them, but they're probably made in ICM's factory, whoever ICM's making them to. Now, the only thing I can think of is that Revell put money into this kit as well, into the tooling, to get this out to market.
Yeah.
They did it. It's all ICM's dosh, is it? Well, why
they do it with other kits, Moss. They've done it with the there's like a passenger plane, the Beechcraft.
Yeah.
They've done it with the Bronco. They've done it with the Invader. They've done it with quite a lot of kits.
Yeah.
The weird thing to me is that Revell often sell it cheaper than ICM.
Yeah.
Which I don't get.
But is it ICM plastic or is it? Have they just said? Yeah.
I bought a Heinkel HE70 from Revell, and it's an ICM kit. When you open the box, it's got ICM stamped on the screws.
Yeah.
But there's nothing about ICM on the box. You're absolutely right, Moss. And I think they should have something on the box.
Yeah.
Tell their customers that it is an ICM tooling.
Don't get me wrong. I guarantee with the quality that Airfix are releasing stuff at the moment, there will be an Edard kit released with Airfix plastic in it. And they'll do their magic with extra photo etch resin and decals and make it a weekender kit or a 6-week holiday kit, whatever they do. You know what Edard do. But there was a time when I remember seeing it, and I've got 2 or 3. I've got the JU88, the Stuka. Sorry, there's a Stuka I got. Yeah, and on the side of the box it clearly says Revell Italiari, you know, the longer one. So why can't they do that now? You know. And I think us scale modelers have been hoodwinked long enough. This is why I was going to talk tonight about reviews, because I had a comment on one of my videos, or it was on here, that somebody said that his review videos or the unboxing videos that us scale modelers do a cheap, tacky way of getting content out there, and I totally disagree. Because Alex will put his hand up to this. I will. Matt for Model Minutes will. Some of our best videos have been our unboxing videos. Because as scale modelers, we've been bitten on the ass so many times that we kind of get worried. Is this really a new kit? Is this you know? And so we like to see what is in the in the box. And yeah, and I actually enjoy doing them because I can see it up close. And then, but what I don't do is I say, if you want to buy this kit, you could buy it from this link here. But at the end of the day, I've given you everything that's in that box.
Yeah.
And it's up to you then to decide with your own eyes to do it. And in my Substack this week, in my article, I wrote about this, and I started off by saying that reviews, the difference between going to a shop and buying and us now buying online is that we don't touch things physically. We look at a picture. What we rely on more now are the reviews. And so because of this, we're doing scale modeling a service. And then we give you everything in the box, and we give you our opinions of what we see in the box. We don't show you how you're going to build it. We go through the instructions with you. So there could be you look at it and think, you know what, I'm going to say it. Here we go. Thunder models again. PE. I'm not going to build that. It's got PE in it. Or you look at Mr. Mini Art and you go, friggin' hell, that's some instruction manual. That is. I'm not going. So you've got the choice then, or you go, oh, that's easy. That is for Mini Art. But I don't think they're doing us this. I think we're doing you a service, and it's all right. Sometimes we do get the camera angles wrong, and we say something that isn't quite correct. But I feel that we're giving a service just because we have been bitten so many times by reboxings, etc. So, and that's why we do it. But,
I always say, Moss, that if you do a review online, you're giving people the opportunity of making an informed decision.
Exactly.
And also,
they don't have to waste their money by buying something they would never build.
Yeah. And also, we're doing a service to the scale model shop owners, because the last thing they want to do is somebody open a box. Have a look at this kit, please. They open up the box, have a look at it, and then they open up that bag from Airfix, the Indian air evaporates out of the bag, and then you can't sell that kit as unsealed now because it's been unsealed. So you're going to have to knock it down at a discount. So which brought me on to the other thing was, should scale model companies do a review of their own, do an unboxing video on video, so you can see what's in it, and then put that QR code on the side of the box. So you pick up the box, scan the QR code on your phone, and you could watch what's inside the box on your phone.
Yeah. That would be brilliant.
I think that's okay. But all that's going to do, because a manufacturer is always going to give you a biased view, even if they're completely honest, you're going to be suspicious of it.
Yeah.
And I think what we do, and I've include people on blogs and whatever, however you're doing an unboxing review, you're not only just showing what there is, but you're also describing what you're seeing. So if I'm saying, I've got this part, and the plastic is really waxy, or it seems to have a lot of. You might not see that and certainly not in a manufacturer's unboxing video, right? And you've got a production kit. It's not been specially made to be reviewed. You just got one. I mean, frequently, I think all of us buy a lot of the kits that we review. So you're giving, as you said, an informed opinion. We are all modelers. We are all, to some degree, subject matter experts.
Yeah.
So we know what a decent panel line looks like. We know what decent surface detail looks like. The sort of stuff that's going to be easy to wash. And those are the things that we're putting in as well. It is still, a look at the kit, but I think it's still valuable. I mean, as a shop owner, I don't mind people looking in boxes if they're not sealed, but I won't unseal a box for a customer.
Maybe that's the answer for you then, Alex. Get QR codes done up, but if you go on YouTube and just put us,
if you come into my shop, Moss, you'll see all of the kits.
Done it already, have you? Yeah.
All have QR codes on that you can go and see those unboxings. Absolutely, and the builds as well. I think the other part, what you mentioned from the comment, is that like people saying, "Oh, well, it's not a build video, so it adds no value." Seriously, you're expecting even a community of YouTube creators to make every single kit that comes out in a reasonable time frame? Because remember, this is to inform people whether they want to buy it. If you want to wait 3 weeks for people to build it, then fine. But most people want, a new kit comes out like the Spitfire. A lot of people want to say, "Ooh, I wonder what's different," and they'll wait for an unboxing. They'll see it and make a decision based on, okay, that's not quite what I expected, or that looks like a great value proposition, and then they'll pull the book. They don't want to wait that time. They want something pretty quick.
Don't you think that they also tend to go for the same creators to get their reviews because they trust certain creators?
Probably. All the style.
To go down then. Oh, it's Airfix.
Because you did a review earlier this week, didn't you, Alex? On that, was it a Chinese kit?
Yeah, the Walton's Focke-Wulf 190D.
That's right. Oh, that's right. It was an FW190, and I was looking at that thing and I thought, Christ, the panel detailing on that is absolutely overdone like hell. But there's a place for a kit like that because beginners, that's exactly what they want.
Yeah.
Something to play around with, and it's £6.
Yeah. But I wouldn't recommend it to an intermediate modeler who's used to.
No, I wouldn't either. No, but as I said, it's got
unless you want to use it as a test bed. Oh, I want to try out some new stuff. Okay, here's a really cheap kit that you can go mad with. It doesn't matter if you trash it.
That's the whole point of reviews. It's so that you can get an idea of what you're looking at before you commit.
Also, I would say, Moss, because I think one of the other things you put, I'm sorry I'm talking a lot, but you mentioned, it's cheap and easy content for us. I can assure you it takes as much time to make an unboxing video as it does to make, like a talking heads kind of video or a model show video. It's not just something that, you can rock up, slam your phone on and just talk for 5 minutes and that's it.
Yeah. You still got to prepare. So, well, I don't do speeches. I do mine off the fly, but I do bullet points. So, like, I'm not saying that because as soon as I open the box, when the camera's on, I haven't seen inside the box. I just open the box and then I have the bullet points on looking at recessed panel lines or raised panel lines, cockpit detail, the decal sheet, making sure that it's not just lines and dots, there's actually words in it, and making sure that, I've done a take that's taken on a decal sheet because the writing was so small, but I knew it was there to get the camera to focus. I had to do that shot 3 times. Then you've got to edit all this down and, and then do it, and it's not easy content, but I tell you one thing, I have built 3 kits in the last month and I've not switched the camera on. I'm actually gone back to enjoying building a model without worrying about the camera angle, the lighting. the focus. It's a ball ache. It really is. I'm sorry, but when you're trying to, and it is not easy. And then you got to, a build video is like 20. So you do a build video, it's about 16 hours worth of video footage, and you're trying to cram all that down to 25 minutes. So what you do? So when you see a full build, all you're actually seeing are the bits we think you need to see.
You're seeing edited highlights, aren't you?
And that's all you're seeing. So I see Brian's put here, and he's got a fair comment, just my opinion, but I find box reviews a total waste of time. I think any review needs to be accompanied by a build, or there's no point. I see that, but we're not showing you how to build it. We're showing you what you're getting in the box, and that's more important for me.
The point I would also make to that, to Brian, I completely disagree with you.
Yeah. So do I.
Is I might be able to build a kit in a certain way, and you might not be able to.
Yeah.
And likewise, you might be able to build a kit, and I might not be able to build the same thing. So you've also got to account for the skill of the builder if you're looking at a build video. So if Plasmo did build review videos, are they going to be useful for the great majority of modelers? No, they're not. So what skill level are you putting it at? So, you are incorporating the modeler within that as well, even if they're just doing an out-of-the-box build, because you've got to account for their experience, their style, how many times do they make a mistake and aren't telling you? Or as Moss said, it's edited highlights. So an unboxing, you see everything. And then you make your own choice, as Moss said.
Well, just Moss isn't very lucky with short shots.
Do you know what? Right? Yeah, and do you know what? As soon as I put a video out and there's a short shot or something, I get the apology. And as I said, at the end of the day, if I had the money to buy Airfix away from Hornby, the first thing I would do is take that tooling out from India, and I'll put it into a country that I'm seeing quality coming from. That's either the Czech Republic or Poland.
Yeah.
I talk to people, and we all diss Revell, but when was the last time you had a short shot on a Revell kit that came out of Poland?
No, you didn't.
Be honest. Or ICM. Be honest. They care.
The only thing I've ever had an issue with Revell is a missing decal sheet. In all the years I've been modelling.
And I'll tell you what that is, John. I'll tell you exactly what it is, because it's a fucking side opening box with a little bit of tape.
Probably fell out in the shop,
Fell out. It fell out.
I'll give Revell their due. They sent me a replacement decal sheet within a week.
But as I said, they're not going to come out. That's the only thing. But I laugh because I said I've got the Phil Flory cast, because it was he had a few on the bounce, didn't he? It's like I shook hands with the bloke and took away his shit. You know what I mean? It's like.
Do you remember his review of the 24 scale Typhoon that he did? And it had a bloody sinkhole in the canopy.
Ouch.
He said, "This is a bit naughty." You could see it. It was like a volcano crater.
But like I said,
you don't need to build it to see that, do you?
Yeah.
No.
But that's exactly it. At the end of the day, I watch Phil Floyd's reviews. I've learned a lot from Phil. But then, see, my argument is that I wasn't in the RAF or anything. So and my embarrassment has always been that I don't know all the parts of a plane. I don't know all the parts of a tank. I'm even worse.
You know all the parts of a tractor, Moz.
I know all the parts of a truck. I know all the parts of a car. I know all the parts of a lorry, because that was my trade. I used to sell truck and trailer parts. That was my trade. So I know all that, compressors and airbags. And I know all that. When it comes to planes, but I'm learning and I'm reading a lot, and and every time I learn something new, and you watch other review videos, but you do go to who you know, and I get that, I really do.
Builds are still useful. It's just I don't think as a review, a build review, it's like, well, it's so again, it's the scientist in me, but there are so many variables that you're introducing that aren't the kit. It's just like it'll tell you some things. It'll tell you, if that person can build the model, does it go together well? You'll get some of that, but you'll probably get that from asking on a forum.
Yeah.
Also,
Exactly.
somebody made a comment stating that inbox reviews are very easy to do. They're not.
They're not.
No.
It doesn't make a difference to me if I do a simple kit or a complicated one. It's about 3 hours research.
The reason I like doing Airfix kits is because they have what's called Workbench, and it's an email that you get, right? And Mike, who writes it, Michael, is an absolute diamond geezer. He's an absolute legend. Now, what you don't see from Airfix, we talk about yourself, but if you go and read his newsletters, he does a deep dive into all these kits. And the first thing I do is I type in the kit, and he would have done a workbench on it a month before the release. And you know what? That there will always be on the Airfix website. So where you've got the fact that you've got Edard, who they put all their sprue trees online.
Yeah.
Airfix do as well, but they put it under the Workbench blog, or there's another blog that he does as well, Aerodrome.
Mm-hmm.
So he puts them all under there. So that's for me, that's what we do. And so you get the basics of it, and you get the story. It's like the Ferret Scout, the story about the boy on the bike who said he was being bullied. It was an absolute lie. So every time he went to school, he got followed there by a Ferret Scout, didn't he? And that's why they used that scheme. But yeah, review video. I to say that review videos are just a cheap way of doing content. I want to say it. It's a little bit hurtful.
Yeah.
But we do put as much effort in. I know, and then when you're doing a build video, you said it's just edited highlights, and then we add to it what we found problems with or whatever. But just because you see a build video doesn't necessarily mean you're going to build that video. Yeah, build that model in that video. So, and here's a man who does reviews. Is our mate Nigel, and I bet Nigel will tell you the same. Review videos are one of the hardest ones to do.
Yeah.
Can you hear us, Nigel?
Yeah, I can hear you. You want me to comment?
Yeah, comment on that.
Yeah.
What's your thoughts on review videos?
I'd like to make two very, very, in my opinion, valid points. First one, going back to what you were saying just now about Revell, they don't put the manufacturer on the box, but they do actually put the country of origin.
Yeah, they do. Yeah.
What you need to do is be very, very careful, because I'll give you two perfect examples. Again, I've done reviews of both of them. This is what the subject is. The Kiowa, I think it's an OH58 Kiowa. It's an academy kit. Revell have reboxed academy plastic. So you are getting an academy kit. Like you do with ICM, you're getting ICM plastic in a bag. But then on the other hand, when they did the Dragon 132nd scale BF110, I think they borrowed the tooling and made it in Poland. So you didn't get the perfect grey Dragon plastic moulding. You got some shitty white plastic full of sink marks, and it's horrible. So you want 32nd scale BF110, get the Dragon, because it's about 20 or 30 pound more, but the plastic's shit in the Revell kit. So there's one thing that comes out of reviews, and it also goes back to what Moss was saying about Revell. But as far as I'm concerned with reviews, I mean, a perfect example, I'm not going to tick the box up because it'll all fall apart. This thing here, this Das Werk Vomag, I reviewed that and said it's probably the best kit they've ever made. And it's beautiful. The detail is amazing. The plastic's lovely. The instructions are a heap of shit. But kit to build is an absolute asshole. And Jeff Donahue's found the same. Other people have found the same. So I think to go on what Gary was saying, I think it was Gary, wasn't it, that was saying reviews are a waste of time. You need to see a build.
Brian,
yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
The review is showing you what you're getting for your money in the box.
Absolutely.
Okay? For example, let me just remember this while I'm talking. One person messaged, and you'll see the message in my build of this kit. I think it was a magazine. They said, having looked at this kit, we can see that this is perfect for all levels of modeler. I'm telling you, Moss, if you bought one of those Lomax, you would throw it across the room.
Yeah.
It is an absolute piece of shit.
You'd do a Nigel.
Sorry?
You'd do a Nigel.
You saw me throw it across the bench, didn't you, if you watched that video? It's so
Can I just make a comment as well on something you've just said, Nigel? Because you were talking about the fact that the instructions were terrible and the kit is a nightmare to put together. You don't find stuff out like that all the time until you've done a build.
Yeah.
And so part of what Brian said is true, because if you have a build that goes with a review, you get the whole picture.
I could see the instructions were terrible in the review. I mean, to be honest, yes, they'd be terrible because it's a DAS for a kit, and their instructions are always terrible.
Yeah.
But this is what I'm saying, and I do say, not in all my reviews, but I do say in a lot of my reviews, this is just a review. It's showing you what you're getting in the box.
Yeah.
It might be that, I mean, I looked at the Gecko ambulance compared to the Airfix ambulance, and the Gecko is by far the better kit. But as it turns out, the Airfix is by far the better kit to build, having seen other people build the Gecko. So it's kind of, this is an IKEA shelf unit. This is what you get in the box, and it's beautifully finished, and all the attachments are lovely and everything. But when you find that none of the screw holes line up, then that's fixing.
Yeah, but this is what I'm on about. Sometimes you do need a build to go with a review to get the full picture. I mean,
they're two different things, and to say that there is no value in unboxing reviews, I think a lot of us here, a lot of people in the comments, that's plainly not true, because that shows you what you're getting. If you can see what you're getting is rubbish to start with, you're probably not going to go on and build it as well to confirm that.
No, true. But I mean, we were talking about the Revell ICM boxings. The Heinkel HE70 is a lovely kit, the Revell build, right? But it doesn't matter who buys that kit, they will run into exactly the same problem, because the wing spars that go into the wing roots from the fuselage need to be cut away. Otherwise, the wings won't fit together.
Yeah.
Right.
I've had that comment given on my my reviews and build progress videos for that kit, and everybody has bought that exactly the same thing.
On the flip side, though, John, the Tamiya 172nd Mosquito. I know Moss has built that kit and had terrible problems getting the nacelles to fit.
Yeah.
I built that kit and I didn't have any problem with nacelles at all. So is that the kit?
Yep.
Is that the issues that we had? Is that us as individuals?
It might be issues,
there are always caveats to a build.
Nigel had the problem with the Hellcat. One of them fitted really well and the other one didn't. Is that right, Nigel?
I was going to say, I think that's an Airfix thing. I mean, when I built mine, I had to shave off the bulkheads to get it to fit. And yet somebody in America built one and it fitted perfectly, but they had to shave loads of plastic off their rear bulkhead to make it fit. And I've seen photographs, and clearly some of those sprues were taken out of the tool and put down, and other ones put on top. And the fuselage halves, instead of being like this, they
But that's what I think happened with your Liberator when you were saying the holes for the wheels weren't central. I think that sprue was pulled off the jig too early.
No, that's actually now been confirmed that it's an issue with the tool.
Oh, is it?
Yeah. Issue with the tool in that.
And they're not going to correct it.
But I mean, in terms of, and this goes back to reboxing as well. Here's a kit that Nigel will probably recognise. This is the
XB70.
XB70, right? Which isn't an Italieri kit; it's an AMT kit.
Yeah, that's right.
But Italieri plastic. So actually, it's better to make than the AMT kit because the plastic is easier to work with.
Yes.
But it's still a horrible, horrible fit.
And if you buy the Brendan aftermarket set for it, the photo etch, none of it fits.
I heard that. I've heard that.
Yeah, if you look at my video, I almost threw it away. It's up there. It's like
I have had to use a little bit of filler.
Only a little bit.
Yeah.
That's the second round. The black
isn't it?
stuff. Yeah.
But it's funny you say that about photo.
I show Nigel the
I
box.
thought
He'll get the cold sweats about.
Oh Christ Almighty! Chuck that piece of shit.
That's an epic
This is the Nigel torture element of the show, guys.
That's an old Hasegawa kit with a load of photo etch that doesn't fit.
Yeah.
You can't even, the seat's like 1/32 scale. It's huge.
It's still not as bad as the Revell 32nd scale one.
Well, that's is that you talking about the old special hobby kit or the old Revell?
Really old 60s tooling of the Typhoon.
Yeah, like the Corsair and the Harrier.
Yeah.
I just Mike C's put inbox reviews are useful. I like to see what I'm going to get myself into. E.g., does it cover the kit, have photo etch, rubber tires, etc. And that's what it's all about. You know, that's what I'm saying. I was talking. I was either Dale or somebody at Airfix I was talking to, and I said they want to do photo etch because they want to keep the age of the kit down.
Yeah.
And I said, one of the things I detest more is the fact that I'm either told to use plastic or photo etch. They never give you that choice.
No.
A lot of these, I think Mini Art would do. I think Mini Art would do themselves a service, and Thunder Models, if they give you the choice. Now, I was talking to somebody on Sunday about that bloody tractor from Thunder Models, and he said that photo etch makes it too thin. Those wings that you have to bend, they will be better being that couple of thick, thousandths. It'll be more in line because all photo etch comes as one size, doesn't it? The thickness.
Yeah.
Various thicknesses, boss, but
but you know what I mean. It's 2D, isn't it? It's 2D.
About 8,000, yeah.
Yeah. But it's all still 2D. But with plastic, you get 3D, don't you? Because you only go, and he sees the point in it. But I want the choice. If I want to add a grill, I want to put the photo etch in. If not, give me a plastic, so I don't have to worry about it. And that's what But I'm giving you a box here and saying this is what's in it. Unfortunately, if you want to build it, you're going to have to get the old 5K Flexi from VMS, and you're going to have to get a tool to get those bends right. And I talked to, and he was saying, he goes, he could never get the bends right. He said, I scribed down the thing, bent it round as the diagram said. And if you bent one too far, the other one would go out the other side. He said, in the end, I threw the kit away. So, but yes, what I'm doing.
You're making me want to build that model.
You're gonna have a go, are you?
I love Thunder Model.
Do you? Yeah.
The other piece about unboxing videos is exactly that on aftermarket, right? Because if you're showing a kit and what it contains, it might be you're looking at it and think, yeah, it looks like a really nice kit, but if I'm going to build it, I'm probably going to want to have a resin ejection seat, or I'll also buy the photo etch because that looks a bit sparse. Those are decisions you can make without having to have a build video. Because if somebody has a build video, then you've got to look at okay, I want to build a video, but I want somebody who also uses the photo etch. So, again, horses for courses.
Yeah.
You pay your money, you take your choice. If you don't like unboxings, you don't get value from them. You don't have to watch them, and you can wait for the builds. But I do think they have their place. If they don't, then tell us and we'll stop doing them.
My second most popular video ever on this channel, on my channel, is the unboxing of the Border Model Lancaster.
Yeah, I've been following that.
I've taken them all down now.
Oh, have you?
Yeah.
Why is that, mate?
Because I'm fed up with people asking when I'm going to do it, when I'm going to work on it, when I'm going to work on it, when I'm going to work on it. When do that.
Yeah.
And also, there are people building the model that are saying they've got this information, this, that, and that, and they're not crediting me. And that really annoys me. I've made a video to I'm on this Gannet.
Yeah.
I credited Phil Flory. Something I learned probably 20 years ago when he says, when you're doing a trailing edge, hold the trailing edge upside down, put your Tamiya extra thin, and run it along the edge, and it capillaries up. I credited Phil Flory for that. It's not my idea, Phil Flory. And
So that again, Nigel, you got this trailing edge, sorry.
if you're where is it? Here it
That
is.
sounds interesting.
It is. If you're trying to glue together a flap or something, you've got a trailing edge there.
Yeah.
Come along. I'm not going to touch it because I don't want to do it. But if you come along with your extra thin on the top, you run the risk of it running down and ruining the detail. What Flory suggests is you hold the upside down, and then you put the brush up under the bottom, and let the glue capillary.
Bloody hell.
Capillary action will suck it in. That's right.
You don't risk the glue running on the outside and ruining the surface detail.
Oh, that's absolutely fantastic.
Brilliant, isn't it?
That is really, especially when it runs into your thumb, isn't it? You're holding it and it runs into your thumb.
Fantastic, isn't it? The other thing I got from Phil Flory, which was probably the best tip I ever got off of that man, is when you put PE on and you've got super glue, when you push it down, oozes out, immediately touch it with a cotton bud and it soaks up the excess super glue.
Oh, right.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah,
Tony Sturridge is saying the worst instructions I've ever come across are Thunder models.
You ain't built a border model or a dragon kit, have you, Tony? Don't get yourself a dragon kit. They've got to be the worst on the planet. Bits missing. Oh, wrong numbers. Like they're like poker instructions, aren't they? You've got a huge exploded diagram, and you're like, where do I start?
Some of the Armour Hasegawa kits from the 70s, their instructions, you didn't know what they were talking about because, well, for instance, they called a tank turret a gun box.
But you remember the old Airfix instructions? They had one exploded view of the model.
Yeah,
didn't
that was from the Red Stripe days.
Step one, glue the pilot.
Everything was ID'd.
Fuselage site 3. Step 2, glue the control. You learned then what the parts were as well because they told you what the parts were.
Yeah.
I'm just going to say, I feel the same, guys, but it comes to Armour Hobby. I don't think they're that good instructions. Armour Hobby aren't that good. The call-outs weren't that good either. But like you're saying, but that's the thing about the old Airfix exploded view, and you have a script. You learn what the parts are.
Yeah.
I would love that to come back.
Monogram did it as well. Monogram did it.
Yeah. Educate us. I love to be educated. So people laugh when I say, that's why I read the work blogs. I think, or the Aerodrome, I can't remember what his surname is now, but Michael from Airfix. I know it's a little bit of War and Peace. I get that. They are long.
Yeah.
But if you really want to know what goes in behind an Airfix kit about designing it, why they've done it, why they've done this, why they've done that, read them, subscribe to it, and you'll get one on a Monday and on a Thursday. And everyone needs to have a turd once in a while. Go and read it on there. The blog for the blog, like
It's an interesting point as well. If you go on ScaleMates and you're looking at an early tool Airfix kit, the download for the instructions are usually the first release instruction leaflet.
Yeah, sample backing.
I'm not joking. I started modeling when I was 6 years old.
Yeah.
And when I was 7 and 8 years old, I was one of the most advanced kids reading because I had to read those instructions to learn how to put the bloody thing together. It wasn't a load of arrows and like we got now, arrows and red bits. This is where it goes. I had to read those instructions or I couldn't build that model.
Yeah.
And you had to ID the parts on the screw. Do you remember the Observer's Book of Aircraft? Because I used to read that avidly.
Oh, yeah.
7 or 8 years old. And I used to look up in the dictionary what all those words meant. So by 7 or 8 years old,
blue cover.
Pretty much aircraft literature,
yeah. I'm going to put this on here because can we have a little giggle, everyone?
Yeah.
What is the timeline of receiving the kit to review and the release date? Because if it's short, then it's really enough time to build and review it. We get them the day you do. We don't get any special treatment. I do bemoan it, because I'm an Airfix club member. I pre-order my kit, and there was a time when I wasn't getting the kit till after people who had bought them on the day.
Yeah.
The trouble is, when you pre-order from Airfix, this is the issue. when I pre-order from Airfix, I don't have the opportunity to pay for expedited shipping. So, but I get no information. I get the same emails as everybody else. I know there's certain companies, big companies who sell Airfix that do get the sniff of the ass before we do on what's coming. But it's only, they were told. I was told that they were told on Friday that this new Spitfire was coming out. So I only had 2 days. But I got none of that information. But then, because I asked the questions to Airfix, I've got a communication line. I was able to get all these extra bits that I showed you tonight. The slides and on what's different. Even there it says restricted, embargoed. So that meant that was never going to be seen by anyone until today.
Right.
We don't get any extra information than what we do.
I got the email today, which I'm not going to run down Airfix because I think they're great. But border model, Hong Kong model, gas patch, lots of different manufacturers send me stuff before it's released.
Yeah.
And I had that 820J maybe 6 months before. I don't think it's even out here yet. And I've had that for months.
Yeah.
They sent the border model line months before it was released.
Yeah.
And I think that's what we should do.
Nigel is a nice guy. I am going to run Airfix down because I found out about the Airfix release from Jadlam first.
Yeah.
2 hours later, my rep actually sent the sales sheet and here, we're releasing this kit. You can order it if you want. They're still running a 2-stage retailer system. I haven't even got the full order of my pre-orders for the Shannon class lifeboat that people pre-ordered from me. Expected it to happen. So they really need to sort out the logistics. So it's pretty appalling. I'm going to always pass that blame back to Airfix because it's their fault. They need to sort that business stuff out.
You see,
Do you remember the SR70, the SRN1 fiasco?
Yeah.
Where certain shops had that kit on sale the day it was released, which means they had delivery of those kits.
Oh, the hovercraft, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we've done that we've done that to death. We've done that to death.
But that proves
changed.
Airfix have different levels of customer. And
It was the same with the 124th Hellcat. Now I was really, really begging to see that kit, and I know that Antics had them, and I went in there and they teased me and showed me them on the shelf. Not let me look inside that box because they have an NDA that said they not release that kit, and he even offered to bring me that kit at 5 past midnight on the day of release so that I could be the first to review it. I said no, that's fine. I was one of the first to review it anyway. But I personally think it's like I just said, that border model Lancaster, they sent me that before release. It's my second most popular video I've ever made. If Airfix had sent a few of us a 24th scale Spitfire last month or last week to do a review that couldn't be launched until today, can you imagine how much more interest that would have got than just putting up some pictures?
Yeah.
They probably sold more.
Yes. I mean, Moss, can I just interrupt you a minute? Can you remember the interest I got from my Seeking when I took it to Bristol last year?
Yeah.
Do you remember there were people offering me money for that kit because it wasn't released, but I had it and I'd started it. Started it. Everybody wanted to hold it. They wanted to pick it up. They wanted to look at it. Airfix were there with their finished models on their table. They weren't looking at them. They wanted to see mine because they could pick it up and hold it,
Yeah. As I said, I'm with Airfix, I say my 10 pence worth, and and I do respect what the Airfix guys are doing, but I look at Airfix like Apple. They tell you what they're going to release on the day, and then we have to wait for it to come into stock. And also, I actually respect that that when Airfix release something, what right have I got? If I hear a rumor say, Airfix are going to release, say, a lifeboat, What right have I got to take away the privilege of Airfix announcing that at the same time to everyone and give the engineers and the designers behind that kit the glory? That's what it's all about, really.
No, you've missed my point. You've missed my point.
Yeah.
If we sent that kit to you, Alex, and me, say, right?
Yeah.
We've got an NDA to say we can make a review of that kit, but we do not release that until the 15th of July.
Yeah.
That's right.
So now today, rather than just having an Airfix video on YouTube saying we've just released this, we've got 75,000 subscribers
Yeah.
looking at the launch of a brand new Airfix kit with an inbox review on the same day.
Yeah. I get
Even
that.
a build review, Nigel.
Sorry?
Well, that's what
Even a build review.
Well,
that's what, you know.
that's what I did with the. I mean, I was building the Sea King before anyone could buy one, and that's really, really popular. Why didn't Airfix learn from that?
But also, the other point is that.
Yeah, yes, I will.
Yeah, I kind of get this, right. With also, Airfix have obligations to Airfix Model World, so because print, I think democracy in the world needs accurate print. I don't believe it should be done all on the internet. I think they pay a good amount of money to Airfix to have the rights to have the kits first to get them built so they can sell their magazines.
Yeah.
So Airfix, their hands are tied like that. Now I've argued it. Yeah, I've argued it many times and said that I look at what Airfix Model World readership is. I could do a video and I could probably get more people looking at that video than what they could put in a magazine.
Yeah.
But I haven't paid for the privilege of using Airfix in my logo on, so I can see that point as well. But then again, Tamiya don't do it. Tamiya don't give out kits before they're released to people to, they'll give them to the Tamiya magazine reps, don't they?
They gave me the Mustang.
Yeah, but
before
Moss,
it was released.
I mean, one of the things that pisses me off, and it should piss off any retailer, right, is that you have that slide deck, right, and retailers don't. Apart from, the 5 or whatever it is that are the tier 1 or whatever, Wonderland, Bedlam or whatever, call it. That says to me, Airfix don't trust me. Even though I've worked for corporations bigger than Airfix 10 times over with NDAs which span the globe, and and any retailer, their business depends on their relationship with their suppliers, right? They're not going to break NDAs, and yet Airfix can't trust them. That's what it says. Even though we shore up their business, we pay them in advance. They had the money. Again, I'll go back to the Shannons. They had my money for the Shannons months ago. Customers paid me, I paid Airfix, still don't have them. That's wrong, and the business practice of, being able to give out, selective slide decks to people because of whatever reason, and not to your general distribution network, that's shit practice. That's shocking, really.
I work with NDAs all the time.
Yeah.
But
any business person works with NDAs. And Dale once said to me, but what if, it got out? Well, then you strike them off. They've broken their agreement. They never get product again.
And you sue them into
part of the agreement. It's a contract.
They've changed their policy on NDAs because I'm very friendly with Peter over at Airscale, as you all know. And I know in the days of the Hellcat, Peter had the instructions and the sprues for the cockpit, so he could make his Airscale cockpit set. So he could launch it on the same day as they released the kit. I begged him for the instructions, and he's like, "Nope, got NDA. I'm not breaking that NDA. As soon as the kit's released, I will send you the image and the instruction."
Yeah.
They don't do that anymore. They will not let aftermarket. I mean, when I got that Sea King, I had to sign to say that I would not send those clear parts to my friend over in the Czech Republic to make his masks, those ASK masks. I had to sign to say I wouldn't do that.
Or from Airfix?
because Airfix know that I'm very friendly with Peter over at XK, and I sent him my clear parts for the 124th Airfix for him, the Spitfire, to make his masks.
Yeah.
And they actually made me sign to say I won't, just in an email, please confirm you will not send these clear parts to him. They do not want anybody having anything before their launch date, which really surprised me that they sent me that Sea King.
Do you know why? But do you know why?
I mean, not being able to go to the launch day. I think that's why Dow did it. To be honest,
I'm gonna put the caveat on that is that they got so much grief from giving some people some bits, some people to others, that they then said we're not going to do it no more.
Right.
It's a free for all.
Yeah.
If you buy the kit, then you can make your own. I think that's what it was. And to be fair, I bet Dale gets pissed off when he hears moans and groans all the time. Why you do this? Why are they getting treated differently? So at the end of the day, Airfix are under the bubble of Hornby. The distribution of Airfix is done under Hornby Hobbies, and it's antiquated. We know it is. The distribution's from the same place. Everything's there.
I don't believe that's true, Moss, because those decisions are being made by Dale and others at the Airfix level about who to give that stuff out to. Like Jadlam, they get the stuff early.
Yeah,
but what I mean is, but Jadlam don't just buy Airfix. They're buying Scale Electrics, Hornby. They're buying all the other stuff that they do. Humbrew. I mean, that's what I'm trying to get at. Is that the distribution of this stuff is a Hornby Hobbies level. So their reps are going out there. They're not Airfix reps,
but they're still managing the Airfix distribution. So that Dale is sending that stuff out, or somebody Airfix is sending that stuff out to Jadlam, not Hornby.
Okay. That's
Airfix could make a decision. We're not going to send anything out in advance.
It's like
John Alex has just made a comment, right, where he said, "I am not buying pre-order items anymore."
Yeah.
Now, if Airfix are going to take the piss out of everybody who's pre-ordered anything that they sell, it could be a locomotive for Hornby Railways, it could be a plastic model kit for Airfix, it could be anything. Scale Electric, doesn't make any difference. If they're going to send retailers that stuff before they send the pre-order guys, what's the point of pre-ordering anything?
Exactly.
Well, that was the problem. That was what we were having, because there were people who were buying it on the day of release, paying for the expedited shipping, which is £7 compared to the £3. But my argument was that when I pre-order in January, there is no option for me to pay for that expedited.
No.
You just get the standard shipping rate.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, Gary's stuff said the same. I've said the same. Alex has said the same. Matt from Model Minutes has said the same. Lexi said the same. John Alec, he never even got his pre-order for his Great Western. He's in America. So it's one of them. We can't do anything about it in the sense of they've got to come up with a better way. They know the portal's not good. But Hornby has when they do a change for distribution, they have to do it for the whole of the umbrella, and that includes, with the Scale Electrics, it's all under that one portal. And as you notice, they've spent more money on setting up this Hornby Hobby Points, because that works. If you bought a Scale Electrics kit, those points can then be used to buy an Airfix kit or buy a Humble 3D printer.
Yeah.
So
Airfix have got everything they need to get it right a long time before they get it wrong. What they need to do is they need to have all the stock they need to satisfy the pre-orders, satisfy all of the retailers, and get it out all on the same day.
Yeah.
If they can't do that,
all retail,
no reason why they should have a pre-order system.
The other thing I don't understand, and they're doing it now with that new Porsche 917. You can pre-order it on Hornby Hobbies for £789. You can pre-order it at Jadlam and get 15% off.
Yeah, but 15%.
Surprised Hornby allow that to happen. It was the same way for my Spitfire. I could have ordered it from Airfix, pre-ordered it from Airfix at £97, whatever it was. I pre-ordered mine from Scale Model Shop at £84.
Yeah, well, they shouldn't. The first 6 months they're allowed to go 10% cheaper.
I don't understand that.
No,
Why
I
are
don't.
we going to go and pre-order a kit from Airfix
Mm.
for 80 quid
Yeah.
when I can pre-order it from Scale Model Shop for 60 quid? And bearing in mind that Airfix will sell me that kit for 80 quid, they'll sell that kit to Scale Model Shop for 45 quid.
Can I just point out that if they
Direct.
They won't sell it that cheap, Nigel. I can assure you the margins aren't that big.
if I'm just saying that if they do it for more than 10%, that goes against their terms and conditions of Airfix. I've been told this from the mouth that they.
Okay, that might be 10%. But
Yeah.
why?
It's not 6 months though. It's shorter.
It's 6 months. That's what I was told.
No, it's not.
Are you sure about that? Yeah.
Positive.
I've got Well, I was told it was because if it's more than 6 months, it's because if it's less than 6 months, they get a slap on the wrist. But then Gadlam do what they want anyway, don't they? You know, so. But you know, it's as I said, I've had some interesting conversations this week, so we'll take it as it is. I've just got a message from Sully, and I've just got the thing here now. Hopefully, it's processing at the moment, but he wanted me just to say that the Blue Lamp Model Expo 2024 will be on Saturday, the 17th of August at the Woodrush High School in Birmingham. Sorry, mate, I can't get the thing to load up here. I'm trying to get it to load up, but it's just saying processing at the moment. So, but yeah, if you want to go to that, I will mention it again next Airfix and Chill as well. So I've got the poster here now. Yeah. So you want to, if you live near Birmingham and you fancy going to the Blue Lamp, I can't make it because it's a Saturday. I think if it was a Sunday, I could probably go up there, but I can't. So, but you know, OTOH, when I do pre-order from the USA, I get my kits before anyone else in the US and cheaper than anyone else in the US if I order enough to get free shipping because no VAT plus club discount. Wow, is that right? Because you know, I've heard all sorts of stories about the USA when it comes to shipping. So
it's a draw if you get the VAT or not, isn't it?
Yeah, I guess that's quite true. But anyway, folks, crumbs, we've gone past the hour mark here, or the 2 hour mark. It's been fantastic talking. I thought, I got that segue quite right, didn't I, in the end, going from unboxing and videos. And so I thought I'd jump in that. But again, just want to thank Julian Hall for jumping on tonight. We'll try and get other regular chat people if they want to come on and have a chat with us. Jim, it's a pleasure from you from America joining us again. John Alec too, James, John, Alex, and Nige and myself. We want to say thank you. Have a fantastic week, and I hopefully will see you again next Monday. Have a good one, folks, and good night.
Cheers.